Hello, students. Let's start the session. Hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hope you can see the PPT as well. Yes, please, someone respond. Yes or
Yes, sir.
yeah. So we have already finished the introductory class few days back, and even I had started the module as well. So for those students who had not attended that one, we'll start with the module once again. So the things what we had covered on that particular day, I'll be moving a bit faster. Then after that, we'll be explaining as usual. Okay. So services marketing module one. So I had seen the definition of services. Services are deeds, processes, and performances. Their broader definition states that services include all economic activities whose output is not physical product, is generally consumed at the time it is produced, and provides added value in forms that are essentially intangible concerns of the purchaser. In this one, the main points to be noted are: it is not a physical product, it is generally consumed at the time it is produced, and it is essentially intangible. These three things are very important when it comes to services. Okay, what are the 3 points? First one is, it is not a physical product, it is generally consumed at the time it is produced, and it is essentially intangible. So this particular definition is given by Zitmal and Bittner. Okay, these are the two authors. Okay, I think this is one of the textbooks which you have. Okay, next one is the definition by Kotler. Service is an activity that one party offers another that is essentially intangible and does not result in the ownership of anything. Its production may or may not be tied to a physical product. So here again there are few things which you need to focus on. That is, first one is essentially intangible, the same thing which was told by Bittner as well. Okay, and does not result in ownership of anything. So services is not a product. So in a product, if a person is selling it, he is an owner before, and if a person buys it, then the ownership is transferred to the buyer. Here in services, there is no product. So intangible means you cannot see, touch, smell, taste, anything. So if there is not a physical product that is available or a physical thing that is available, so you cannot have the change of ownership. So there is no point of having an ownership or anything. So once a service is produced and it has to be consumed then and there, it is non-tangible and the ownership cannot be transferred, or there is no ownership of that particular service. Okay. Next, moving to characteristics of services. So first is intangibility. One of the characteristics, that is you cannot feel, touch, smell, taste, or anything. Next is variability. So it varies from time to time and person to person. So in the previous class, I had given the example of your cellular provider or your service provider, that is your cell phones. So the person or the cell phone company, so there are so many cell phone companies, that is, for example, Airtel, Jio, then Vodafone Idea, and so on. So each person is providing the same kind of services, but each and every person is different in his own ways. One person has good data, that is, he is having very good speeds of internet, and the second person, he says he is present everywhere. You can be anywhere in the globe and you can find his reception over there. So that is the variability of the same service. Next is inseparability. Inseparability here in the sense, as you saw in the definition itself, that is, as and when it is created, it has to be consumed. Otherwise, it is waste or it goes on for waste. Okay, that is inseparability. You cannot separate the production and the consumption of service. Next is perishable. So perishable in the sense, you cannot store it, you cannot give it back or anything. So once it is created, it has to be consumed, otherwise it is waste. So you cannot uh, store a particular service, okay, that is perishable. So the duration is for a certain period only. Next is ownership. So in ownership, as I already explained, so as a service is not an intangible, so you cannot have an ownership for it or transfer of ownership. Okay. Next is goods versus services. Again, this is one of the important questions. So what are goods and services, or what are the difference between goods and services? Goods are tangible. What do you mean by tangible? You can feel, touch, taste, and sometimes and feel. Okay. So services are intangible. You cannot feel, touch, or do anything or smell. Okay, for that matter. So next is goods are standardized. So if you buy a chair, it will be of a certain height. If it is of a certain quality, then it will be of a certain make, something like that. It is standardized. So services, it is heterogeneous. It may change or may not change with the time or the person who is providing the service. Okay. Next is production separate from consumption. So in case of product, it can be produced somewhere else and can be used in some other place. But services that it is not so. So simultaneous production and consumption. Here you have to produce the service then and there and has to be consumed by your customer or the consumer then and there. Okay. Then goods are non-perishable. That means uh, you can have a expiry for it. Till then it is valid, or you can feel touch and it can be used in a particular manner it is being produced for. Next is services. It is perishable. That means it has a certain duration only and you cannot store it in a particular place or you cannot return it back. Okay, that is perishable. Next comes 7 P's of service marketing. So you have already learned 4 P's in marketing. So here we are having 7 P's of service marketing. Promotion that are being added are people, physical evidence, and the process. Okay, first one is product. So in this case, product is not tangible or intangible. Here, product in the sense is the service that we are offering. Next is the price. How do you define price? Based on the type, the quality of the services, the particular price of that particular service is being put for that particular service. Like for example, you go to a restaurant or you go to some eatery. So there is a difference between a 3-star hotel, 5-star hotel, and a 7-star hotel, right? The prices are varied. The same thing you get, the same kind of service you get. That is, you get food in a particular presented to you. Everything varies from a 3-star hotel to a 5-star hotel to a 7-star hotel. So something based on the quantity, the price varies. Okay. Next is the place. So where are you basically producing it and selling it? Okay. The place is a part of 7P. Again, promotion. So promotion is, again, you can see that it can, promotion can have marketing, then giving information to the customer, and you can have a good word about the particular service. So promotion, the first 4 P's are the same as of for the product. That is people, physical evidence, and process. Okay. Next is the most important thing. That is the next 3 are people, physical evidence, and process. What is people? So people play a very important role in service. Why? Because you don't have a product that you can feel, touch, or you can smell or taste. Here, whatever the service produced is by the people, and whatever is consumed is by the people. So, people are very important part of services marketing. Next comes physical evidence. So, physical evidence you can feel, touch, and you can even smell, you can see the ambience. Like for example, I'll give you a restaurant again. So if you go to a restaurant, you can feel, see, and you can feel the ambience over there. You can touch the chairs, tables, the plates, right? And you will be consuming the food that they are serving you. So the physical evidence matters a lot. Okay. And whether they are maintaining the place clean, even that matters. So physical evidence has all these things covered. Next is process. So what is process? So process is a set of activities that has to be done one after the other. So whether the process is standardized or it is varied as per the person and the time it is being delivered. So these are the 7 P's. Again, I'll repeat: product, physical evidence, and the process. Next, coming to the services marketing triangle. Okay. So first thing what we have to see is who are the uh, parties here. Okay. First is the company, second is the employees, and third is the customer. These forms the three sides or the three vertexes of this particular triangle. That is, first one is the company, then the employees or the frontline employees, then the customers. So in between there are some arrows. So between company and customers, we are having external marketing. Between company and frontline employees, we are having internal marketing. And between employees and customers, we are having external marketing. And between customers and employees, we are having internal marketing. So these are the three vertexes of this particular triangle. Okay. Are working for the company. Here, internal marketing means the company is marketing its product or the services to its employees only. So, is it audible now? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, are there any people for whom it is not audible? I'm getting some messages here that it's not audible. Okay, is it now audible? Some of you answer.
Sir, it's audible, but we can't see your presentation.
Yes, students, you are not able to see the presentation.
Yes, sir, we can't see the presentation.
All are having the same issue.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Was not aware of this. I'll just check. Just a second. Give me some time. Is the presentation visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, students.
Yes, sir, it's visible. Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay, I was talking about the services marketing triangle. So you can see the services marketing triangle on the screen. Okay, it has 6 different things that you need to take into consideration, or these are 6 things that are need to be explained in your examination. That is, first is the company, second is the frontline employees, and third is the customers. And in between you can see arrows where it is said internal marketing, external marketing, and interactive marketing. So the internal marketing between the company and the frontline employees. External marketing is between the company and the customers, and the interactive marketing is between the employees and the customers. Okay, first we'll see internal marketing. So as you already know, it is between the company and the frontline employees. Frontline employees, why you call is because these employees are the people who are interacting with the customers directly. So if there is a company, for example, Jio, Ambani cannot come and service if there is any issue. So there are some employees who are working for Ambani or under Jio. So if you are having any issues, you are raising that particular issue to the company or bringing the serving you. If you call a service center, Ambani will not pick and talk to you. So there are some people who will be assigned for that particular job. Whenever you call a customer care, so a person who is representing the company is talking to you. So he is an employee. So first, why internal marketing is very necessary is, first you have to take the confidence of, or you have to take the confidence of your employees. Okay, you should have the confidence of your employees that they are doing a good job or they are providing better service or good service to the customers. So when they are very confident about their product or their service, then only they will be confident enough to provide it to the customers. Next, coming to company and customers. Here we are having external marketing. This is done by the company in focus of the customers, consumers, or prospect customers. That means if something has to be communicated by the company to the customers, then external marketing comes. Here it can be promotions, here it can be mall intercepts, or it can be billboards, it can be broadcast media, via broadcast media, that is in television, you are getting some ads, or the owner or the chairman or the CEO comes and talks to the people as if he is talking directly to them. So something of such sort is being done. So here we are having external marketing that is into place. So it is between company and the customers. Next comes the frontline employees and the customers. It is called as interactive marketing. Here the employees are interacting with the customers, or they are having a word with the customers. Here why it is called as interactive marketing is because as a customer you think you are talking to the company and not to the employee of that particular company. So if you are calling a service center or a service care center, that is for example your mobiles only, if you are calling, you are having in your mind that you are talking to the company and not to the employee of that particular company. So whenever you tell something of such sort that you have called the customer care and you are telling it to your friend, you say, I had called Jio or I had called Airtel. So that means in your head you are having the perception of that you are speaking to the that feels you as a customer, you feel you are having an interaction with the company. Okay, and employee feels that they are having interaction with the customers. So it is called as things that you need to be very careful is, that is company, frontline employees, customers, internal marketing, external marketing, and interactive marketing. So next, moving to gap models of service quality. So basically you are learning many gaps here between various places. So first we are having customer gap. So customer gap, we are having two things, that is customer expectations and customer perceptions. Here it is very much important as a customer. So you come into the shoes of a customer. So you are the customer now. So you are going to have lunch somewhere outside in a restaurant. So what is your expectation? So as a person who is going out for dinner or lunch to a restaurant, he'll be having a certain set of expectations or certain set of imagination that what will be happening over there. He'll go, he'll sit, this kind of ambience will be there. That is his expectations. Expectations are standardized things that you think of when you hear a certain thing or when you try to experience something. Okay. So next is customer perception. So perception is what a person thinks about something. Okay. So if you have already been to that particular restaurant, you already know what to expect. Okay, that is your perception. If it was good, you feel that okay, that place is very happening. I have to go there. That is very good. You tell like that. Otherwise, if it is not so good, you say, "Arey, that was not so good. That person was not treating me well. The ambience is not good. It is not maintained clean," or something like that. So that is your perception. Expectations are standard things that suddenly come to your mind. So even before you know which restaurant you are going, so if somebody says we are having the dinner out or lunch outside, so suddenly you are having a set of thoughts which are standardized. So when somebody says, okay, we are going to this particular restaurant, if you have already been there, the perception is, okay, suddenly you remember the last time when you had been there. So what was the things, how you were treated, whether the food was good, bad, how was the ambience, the lighting was good, whether it was very smelly, whether the food tastes good. So everything this comes in your mind. That is your perception. Whether this time the same person is serving you or not, or if he has changed the setup, that doesn't mind. But here suddenly you get the thought of, okay, I had been there before and this is how it was. So that is your perception. So the difference, they may ask you again, what is customer expectation and what is customer perception. So you should already know this. The difference is a standard set of things that comes into your mind is your expectation, or the customer's mind if it comes, that is customer's expectation. So if the customer has already been or experienced that particular service, and when somebody says or he thinks of it as in a particular way or in a certain way, that is called as customer perception. Okay. Next, this is the whole gap model, whatever you see in your screen. So the top one, there is a line on the top, you can see there is customer and it is written as customer gap. So customer gap is between expected service and perceived service. Okay. So that is your customer gap. So in your first module, we are just looking into the basics, that is customer gap and all. In your upcoming module, gap, performance gap and communication gap. So this is what we are looking into the whole other chapters other than the first chapter. So gap 1 is between the expected service and the company perceptions of consumer expectations. So in terms of company, the gap first one is listening gap. Okay, we'll discuss this in detail later. First, we'll just see what are the different gaps. Okay, next, gap 2 is service design and standards gap, which is between company perceptions of consumer expectations and consumer driven service designs and standards. Third one is the performance gap, which is between customer driven service designs and standards and service delivery. And the fourth gap is between the external communications to customers and service delivery, which is known as communication gap. Now coming to listening gap. What is listening gap? Here, as a customer, you think, okay, if I say a certain particular service, so you think that, okay, this is of this particular kind. Okay, you expect something. Okay, so the company thinks that they know what you are expecting. Okay, they think that what you are expecting, but it may be true or it may not be true. If just they think, then it will be a very big issue if it is not right. Okay, so what they have to do is they have to go with good research. So if they are coming up with a service, they should know who are their customers and what the customer thinks or what they want basically. So what the customer wants, if you are providing, then you are a big success in the market. If not, you will be nowhere in the market. Okay. So the first gap, that is listening gap, is between expected service, that is expected customer expectation, that is expected service from the customer, and the company perceptions of what they think about the customer thinking. Okay, this if there is a gap, that is a listening gap. Why we call it as a listening gap? Because customer says that he needs this, but if the company is not listening, or the top officials who take the decisions, they don't think or they don't listen to all these things, then there will be a gap that is produced. So if you are given something that is not required by you, then what you do, you just throw it out, or you don't care about it. So even if you give it for free, people won't accept. But here, services, it costs you something. You need to pay for that particular service at that particular moment of time. Whatever you need is not being provided. That means you are not satisfied. So this is the first gap, is the listening gap. Next, we are having the second gap, that is gap 2, service design and standards gap. Here, even if you know properly what the customer needs are or what the customer want, but still there is no guarantee that the company is providing exactly what they want. Why? Because they are not having a set of rules or regulations or standardized procedures to make sure that the customer is getting what he wants. Okay, this is the gap. Even if the top level management knows, okay, my customer is in need of this, he wants this, and they devise something where if it is not standardized, if the person or the employee is not properly trained, he may do as he wishes. But if there are a set of rules which has to be followed while delivering that particular service, then there will be some standardized process or way in which he is delivering it. Okay, and you get the same kind of service each and every time. Otherwise, what happens? As per the mood of the employee or the type of employee or the type of training he is having, he will be changing his service delivery each and every time. So in that case, your expectation is completely different, or your expectation is something and the delivery is something else. So if it is greater than your perception, that means you are delighted. Otherwise, you are disappointed. So this is the second gap. Next is performance gap. Customer driven service designs and standards to the service delivery. If there are set standards also, but if the person who is delivering the service is not adhering to those standard steps or the process, then there will be a gap that is produced where the customer is not happy. Why? Because his needs are not being fulfilled. Okay, so this is the third gap, that is performance gap. Here the company has to provide good training to the employees as to what to be done with employees or to tackle employees. Each and every customer is not the same for an employee. So some person or some customer speaks less, some customer asks more questions, some people they come to just create some havoc. So the person who is there as an employee who is providing the service has to encounter such people or such customers and still has to provide the same level or same quality of the service that he is told to provide. Okay, so if that is not properly done, then there will be a gap which is called as a performance gap, which is between the service delivery and the standards that are set by the company. Next is the last gap, that is communication gap. So in communication gap, it is between the service delivery and the external communications to the customers. Here what we mean by external communication to customers is, as I already mentioned, there might be some advertisements which are being aired or by the company where it says something is being provided or the company promises you of something. Okay, and if that is not met, For example, I'll give you Airtel. They say we are the fastest internet provider in India, and it gives the proof of certain speed measuring devices or the companies. Okay. If they say, okay, our speed is the fastest, and if they don't deliver to the customer, so that is the communication gap. Okay. They communicate something, but still they are not providing what they are saying to you. That is the gap. That is service delivery and the external communications to the customers. That is a gap is there. That is called as a communication gap. Okay, moving ahead. So we are having something called as services search versus experience versus credence properties. So what do you mean by services search? So at the bottom you can see some things written over there, that is clothing, jewelry, furniture, houses, and all those things. Okay, so here these things are high in search. Okay, high in search in the sense, what do you mean by search? Here people are searching for some color, some fit, uh, some kind of in terms of price, in terms of size, something like that. So these come under goods. For example, here it is clothing, jewelry, furniture, houses, automobiles. These are high in search. So people search good color of clothing, lower price or price band of particular jewelry. In a particular price band, you are looking for jewelry, furniture. Each and every, the size of each and every house or each and every room in a house is different. Based on the size and the place available, they go for the different sizes of furniture. So something like that. Okay, these come under search. So these all are like clothing, jewelry, furniture. These all are high in search. Next is high in experience. So here we are having restaurant meals, vacations, haircuts, childcare. These are high in experience. That means when people will not come to know about the type of quality or the type of service unless they undergo the experience. That means, for example, here it is restaurant meals. Unless you eat, it may look good, but unless you eat, you will never come to know about the taste, whether you like it or not. So same with the vacations. Wherever you go, until you experience that particular vacation, you may not understand the feeling of it. I can say I had been to Switzerland, but I have not been. So I don't know what it feels to experience being in Switzerland. I can just sit here and say I had been to Switzerland, or I am planning vacation in Switzerland. So I don't know how it feels, what is the experience of going there, how is the ambience. I never know sitting over here. So unless you experience it, you will not come to know about the quality or the service over there. Okay. So similarly, haircuts and childcare. So I need not explain over for that. So next is high in credence. So what do you mean by credence? First, understand the meaning of credence. Credence means something that you believe is true. Okay, that is called as credence. The definition or the meaning of credence is something that you believe is true is credence. So for example, here high in credence we are having legal services, television repair, root canals, auto repair, and medical diagnostics. What do you mean by credence? Is only it is your belief, it is good. You even after you experience it, you may not come to know about the quality or about the type of service you are being provided or you undergo. Okay. For example, television repair. A person comes, he opens your television. If there is a certain issue, you call him. He opens it, he does something, and your TV starts or your television starts. So you never know what is being done. You feel he is good, okay, because he opened it, he did something in 5 to 10 minutes, he fixed it. So you feel it might be good. So we never know whether he did a good job or bad because it is closed again. So similarly, legal services in the sense which is pertaining to law. If there is a lawyer who says something about a particular thing, if you are having any issue with some of the land or some of the property, you go to a lawyer and he suggests you something. So you never know whether the suggestion is right or wrong until even if you have experienced it. Okay. So because you don't know law, if you have already known, you would have not gone to that particular lawyer, right? So similarly, root canal. a person drilling into your tooth because it is aching, and he does something over there and he fixes it. You never know whether he has done a good job or no, even after it is being experienced, right? So similarly, auto repair, again he opens your vehicle, he does something, and your vehicle starts. We never again understand whether the service that is provided to you is right or wrong. Okay, so this is all comes under service search, experience versus credence properties. So we'll stop here. I'll just tell you what all we finished today. So we just saw the definition of services by Zitmal, Bittner as well as Kotler. Okay. Next comes characteristics of services, which has intangibility, variability, inseparability, perishable, and ownership. Okay. Next is goods versus services. Goods are tangible, services are intangible, goods are standardized, services are heterogeneous. Goods production is separate from consumption, services simultaneous production and consumption. Goods are non-perishable, services are perishable. Next, coming to the 7 P's of service marketing, one of the important concepts also can be asked for 7 to 10 marks. So we are having product, price, place, promotion, people, physical evidence, and process. Next, service marketing triangle. The main components are company, frontline employees, and customers. Between these 3 things, we are having some arrows where it is internal marketing, external marketing, and interactive marketing. Internal marketing between the company and frontline employees, interactive marketing between frontline employees and the customers, and the external marketing between the company and the customers. So coming to the gap model of service quality, we just saw customer gap. So what is customer gap? The gap between the customer expectation and the customer perception. Customer expectation, something standard, and customer perception, if the customer has already undergone that particular service, suddenly what he thinks about it, that is the customer's perception. Next, in general view of the gap model, where we are having 2 parts, that is customer part and the company part. So under customer part, we are having only customer gap, which is between expected service and perceived service. Between the company gap, in the company gap, we are having different gaps. That is the gap 1, which is between expected service and company perceptions of consumer expectations, which is known as listening gap. Next, coming to gap 2, which is known as service design and standards gap, which is between company perceptions of consumer expectation and consumer driven service design and standards. Next, moving to the gap number 3, that is performance gap, which is between service delivery and customer driven service designs and standards. Next, moving to the 4th gap, which is known as communication gap, which is between service delivery and external communications to customers. Moving to search, experience, and credence. What is search? Search is basically, I told you about the color, fit, size, price, all this comes under search. People search for these things. Next, moving to experience. So what do you mean by experience? These are the things which you can understand only after experience. For example, restaurant meals, vacations, haircuts, childcare, etc. Next comes credence. The meaning of credence is something that you feel is true, or something that is you believe in is true. Okay, here examples are TV repair, legal services, root canals, auto repair, medical diagnosis, etc. So why we say this is, even after you experiencing it, you may or may not understand whether the service was good or bad. Whatever you think of it is true. For example, root canal. The doctor does your root canal and finishes it and your pain is gone. But you never know whether the service that he provided, that whatever he did there was proper or not. Okay, whether it was of good quality or not. But you did not feel any pain after the procedure. That means he has done something good. That is what you believe. So all these things we have covered today. Okay. So rest we will see in the next class. Okay. So we'll stop sharing now. Okay, students, in the next class, hopefully I'll be giving you some assignments. So make sure in the later classes, you will be submitting it. Okay? Yeah. Thank you very much. We'll end the class here.
Thank you, sir.